Hey, so typically I talk at the camera and I do it in one take because, this is all improv. I don't know what I'm going to say next. I have kind of like a general idea of what I want to put out there. Just can't seem to get it today. But, because it's a tough one. And it's Tulsi Gabbard related. And that's, I think, there's this thing where people have trouble figuring it out, like figuring her out, which she actually said on Bill Maher last night, which props to him for finally having her on. I've been tweeting at him, giving him shit. Hey, if you're really as against war as you say you are, why have you not had this candidate on when you've had Pete Buttigieg and the frat boy, What the fuck? Have Tulsi on. And he finally did, so great. I think that, like, younger people especially, because, like, her demeanor, I'm not put off by, like, the sort of military demeanor anymore. It's more about what they believe, and she's not pro-war, so I'm fine with the fact that she served. In fact, I see it as a good thing. So I think people need to shift their thinking where, they might, like, when I was younger, I'd see someone with the uniform on, things like that, and I would feel put off to it. I'd feel an aversion of, like, don't you know what you're doing? Like, why would anyone voluntarily sign up for this? And this was the Iraq War. And I worked at a health food store, and I started to see, a few years into it, these guys coming back really fucked up, and they go to, like, the natural section where they, like, be looking for something to sleep and, help with anxiety. And truthfully, it kind of broke my heart, and that's where I stopped, like, you know what, this war is not good for anybody. Forget these people who voluntarily signed up for this. This is just, they believe it's the right thing. So, there's no real malice behind it, for most of them. I'm sure, like, there's fucking psychopaths who, like, they want to fire weapons, they want to fucking kill. I'm sure that exists. In fact, I've ever been in the military, so if anybody out there has, I'd be curious to know, like, where did you serve with anybody who you feel was like, this guy's just a psychopath who wants to shoot something. It really is just a question. I don't know, because it seems like it would, like, attract that a little bit. I don't want to get off topic. My point is, it's like younger people out there, don't be put off by the demeanor that, yes, she has been in the military. See it as, this is somebody who's been on the inside. They know that these wars are horrible, and that it's doing it kind of like I said, like, they're not good for anyone at this point. And use that money here, I think that's why people on the right kind of, she has a crossover appeal, is because most Americans want the things that Bernie talks about, but he confesses, and at least he's honest about it. Hey, yes, taxes will be higher, but no co-pays, any of that, all those inconveniences wiped out. So that has a lot of appeal. The taxes he has with his plan, I guess the Wall Street transaction thing, like, that's a whole different thing. So I don't think any taxes would go to that. Whereas Tulsi, it seems like she's like, hey, let's take this from the defense budget and use that money for healthcare. Would Bernie be able to, implement, that's the right word, right? Implement something fast enough or faster than she might? Because he really he has all his policy stuff figured out. I have his book where policy after policy, you can read it right there. He's already done the work. It's ready to fucking be passed and be a thing. And I don't think Tulsi's that far along, which is where I think she'd make a good VP, because, Bernie's foreign policy, he's great. He's anti-war, and he's not an interventionist, but he just doesn't have the foreign policy experience. He's the domestic guy, where, he really needs someone with solid foreign policy, and that is definitely Tulsi, no close second there. So, yeah, I hope that, should anyone see this, who knows what I'm talking about, spread that around, because I think that's not a bad kind of insight theory, that some people have a kind of natural aversion to anyone who's even joined the military when, we need to get a different, sort of look at it from a different angle, see it in a different light, because, I'll take someone who knows the inside and who wants to change it. That was, the one difference between, Trump said he wanted to do all these things, but he didn't know the inside, where people like Tulsi, Congresswoman, Bernie particularly, he's been saying the same shit for 30 years. They already know the inside, so they actually could get shit done, provided it's not all getting, it doesn't all get blocked. feel like that's where the hope is right now. And frankly, I don't know how much sense this made, but I feel like I'm still going to post it because this has been bugging me, some of the perceptions of Tulsi, that this is just kind of a theory I have. So, you know what, I wouldn't mind if you disagree or you have other thoughts on it. I'd like to hear them in a comment. I'd like to hear from anybody. I always welcome that. You like, dislike, I don't care about that. But yeah, I like actually hearing from people without hostility. I'm somebody who's just looking for the truth and answer, and looking, trying to answer questions as well too. All these people talk about the marketplace of ideas. Well, yeah, I like that, but also for real too. Let's talk about ideas. I'm down. So anyway, maybe we'll talk.